Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. Hello from the bottom left of the screen. I wanted to make a quick video. Usually, after every closing, while you're at the closing table, you're sitting down with the loan officer and the attorney, and they go through what's called an amortization schedule. And it's just pretty much a fancy way of saying it is a payment schedule of the life of the loan. So in most cases, a 30-year loan, it's 360 payments at a fixed amount, usually whatever that interest rate is going to be, and you have your principal and interest all kind of broke down on there. And it's very interest heavy, especially on the front part of the loan, and it's broke out over those payments on the 30-year, again about 360 payments. And over that life of the loan, I just wanted to share a scenario here and some ways that you can, apply some additional principal and what that kind of turns into over the course of the loan and saving, tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. And, you don't really think too much about it. 6% over the life of the loan doesn't sound like a lot. And it sounds like pretty good comparative to, a credit card, some of these being, 12, 15, 18%. However, over a 30-year period, and looking at this screen here down here at the bottom, on a $350,000 loan at 6%, if you just made the bare minimum payments every month over a 30-year period, you're going to pay $405,434. And total on that $350,000 loan, $755,000. So you're going to pay more than double the price you paid for it over the course of 30 years. So what I want to share with you is just, something simple you can do by making one additional principal payment a year, and you can break it down over 12 months or however you really want to do it. But with, this loan example, it's showing that on that payment, it would be roughly $2,098. So if we round that up to $2,100, and you divided that by 12 being, your monthly payment that you could, apply that to. So that'd be $175 extra dollars a month. And what that does is will pay off your loan 5 years and 5 months earlier and saving, this is substantial, $85,992. So pretty big amount whenever you really think about it, and also cutting down a substantial amount of time. And you can break this out however you want. If you wanted to double that up and say you applied $350 extra dollars a month, it cuts it down to 21 years exactly, and you're going to save $139,000. And I just wanted to, share this as an example. It's sort of, if you already have the mortgage, it's a guaranteed way that you're going to not give the bank that additional interest, which is substantial, so especially think about 30 years, if you're, in your 30s and you're preparing for retirement, and this could be, a way if you're already funding your IRA and your 401ks and whatnot, if you have a few extra bucks at the end of the month, or, you could even wait until you get your taxes, at the end of the year, and, you get that refund and you can make that payment then. It doesn't have to be broke out monthly. But, in this example, $175 again a month comes out to roughly $5 a day. So $5 a day, whatever that may be, if, you're buying, a couple coffees at Starbucks or Dunkin' or wherever you're at, you can, save that $5 extra, or, you just have it laying around at the end of the month and it's in a savings account or whatever, and you can make that additional principal payment. This is an option for saving a substantial amount, not giving it back to the bank, and essentially going back into your pocket and having that money for your home and the value and the equity, instead of paying on it that additional 5 years. But just thought I'd share that. Like I said, I usually share this with my clients at the closing table at the end there, but just kind of a good reminder if you already do have a mortgage, or if you're thinking about getting one, just further educating yourself on some of the, tips and tricks that you can kind of do to save that additional money. Again, hope y'all found it useful. Hope you have a great day, and talk soon. Have a good one.